Hello and welcome back to the Last Lane Spec here. Today we are doing something special. We are doing an origin tier list. I'm going to assign all 60 origins to the tier list, S through to D, and talk about the pros, cons, weaknesses, strengths of each of them, and provide tips and tricks for each and every single one of them. This is going to take a while. This tier list will be targeted for beginners because honestly, every single origin in the game is the same ranking. Every single one of them can work under different scenarios, but just some of them are easier to make work. Some of them are more beginner friendly, and so that's what I'm going to be focusing on here. Those that don't know, The Last Flame is my absolute favorite single player auto battler. There is so much depth to it. There are so many items. I think there's like 66 heroes off the top of my head. There are 60 origins to go with that. And then there are relics, which all layer different strategic layers for the game and allow endless replayability. This is not a sponsor. This is just honestly such a great game. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I'm going to leave some timestamps below so you can skip to certain origins or section or whatever you want to do. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Now for the tier list definitions. 4 things that are going to help me categorize these origins are 1, how big is their immediate impact on the board? Do they come down and boom, help you out? 2, how good is their late game scaling? Do they scale endlessly to allow you to beat the final true end game and get an ultimate victory? 3, do these origins help with survivability? Do they keep your team alive so you can survive for long enough to do the damage? And 4, ease of setup. How easy are these origins to come down and do their thing? These are the 4 categories I'm going to help you to define the tier lists. Starting from the bottom, we have TBC, and this is simply just origins I've not tested enough to have confidence with my definition for them. I just need to play them more to understand where their boundaries are and how well they perform. There aren't going to be too many of these, so don't worry. D, these require quite a bit of setup to make work or game knowledge. They don't come down and have immediate impact, and you kind of have to plan around them. In terms of beginner friendliness, these are the ones you probably want to avoid at the immediate start. Then we have C, which is where most of them should sit. So these require a little setup, but they can be strong. They do a little bit when they are selected, so they come down and boom, you feel their presence. It might not be massive, but it does help you out with your fights. And they just perform averagely. Okay, then we have the better C origins. So these are just slightly outperforming C. So they come down and do a little bit more on the field, and maybe they're quite easy to set up at the same time. Or maybe they require absolutely no planning. You click them and they do their thing. You don't even need to put a single item on a hero to capitalize on their strengths. These are Smile. Then we have strong impact, good scaling, or easy to make work. This is A. So they come down and you're happy to have these. These help win your runs. These define your team. These are the origins you want to be choosing to win. Yippee. And then finally, we have S tier, which is essentially A tier, but multiple. So they have a strong immediate impact and they scale really well late game. Or they have a strong immediate impact and they're really easy to accommodate. They're just, you click them, you forget, and boom, they help you win. These are absolute W's. Now we've done all the yapping for the tier lists, for the definitions, for the fact that it's beginner friendly. Now it's time to dig into the origin tier list itself. There's 60 to get through, so I'm going to be mostly speaking off the cuff here. Starting off strong with Hellion. Hellion gives your team attack damage based on your hero with the highest attack damage, and it also gives the team lifesteal. All your heroes need to do is get below 60% life. I really like Hellion. It's easy to set up because all you need is one character with a lot of attack damage. This works really well with a Copper Axe, time talisman or timeless talisman, whatever it's called. It works well with that hammer, all those mace items. So I'll pop them on screen here. You just need to stack attack damage a lot on one hero, and then boom, the rest of your team get attack damage, the rest of your team get lifesteal. Now that 60% is a bit of a negative because it means your heroes have to reduce their life to get to 60, but that's not difficult. You can have an item that reduces their own life to get them below that 60 threshold without being threatened by enemies, such as the bone necklace, just as one example. Yeah, Hellion's really good. It comes down, it pretty much has an immediate impact as long as you're an attack damage team, so it's not very hard to set up. It gives you sustainability through lifesteal. It's not my favorite when it comes to the fight Act 4, but it really will carry you through Act 1 and 2. I like Hellion a lot. For those reasons, it's going into A tier. Now I might do like one from each category just to give you a bit of vibe of where I'm at with these origins. Next up, let's do Gadgeteer. Where's Gadgeteer? There you are. What Gadgeteer does is it increases the team spell power for every crit that you do. The upside to Gadgeteer is much higher than Hellion. It comes in and it does nothing. You need to perform the crit to actually get the scaling to occur, and if you don't have the crit, then you're not going to get the spell power. Another thing to consider is a lot of teams that are crit are typically attack damage, and the fact is that attack damage builds are typically stronger as well. So it needs a little bit to get going, crit chance. Its benefit doesn't come immediately. It needs time to scale through those crit hits, and then it produces spell power which means you probably want to be doing that in a targeted spell power crit team. Its late game scaling can be insane. It can be absolutely busted. If you've got that dagger which shares out your crit chance to your team, so you're doing a lot of crits, or you have really good crit spell power heroes such as like Luco, maybe you got Savos who's distributing spell power to the team and giving everyone crit through the summons, Gadgeteer can work really well. But because it doesn't do anything immediately, it needs really high crit chance to really pop off. It is going to be lower in the tier list, and for that reason, I'm going to chuck that in C. Again, I really like Gadgeteer, so you gotta take this with a pinch of salt. It's about how easy it is to implement. So now let's do Stellar. Stellar is an origin which increases your team's spell power based on your team's total bonus max HP. This is a pretty cool relic. So it comes down and it immediately does something, as long as you have bonus HP, which you probably do. You have your tank with the green armor, or you've got the other armor on him that gives a bit of defense. It has a bit of impact there. One thing I would note is it says bonus max HP, so it won't work. It will do literally nothing unless you have armor or a recipe that boosts your max HP. So that's one important aspect of this. The next is percent spell power. So if you don't have high base spell power through items such as the blue wand or the bent stuff that minus 0 attack speed, it's not going to do much. You need a little bit of setup, but it's not hard to set those things up. They're items you get like irregularly. The key here is it's bonus max HP, so you really want to lean into that, and you want to use items such as Protector's Helmet that just give you a sheer 80% more max HP. That's so much bonus to work with that item. And there are also like really good legendary relics. So Dark Knight's armor, 60% max HP. Boom, you're laughing. Or just like Ethereal armor, another 350 max HP. All these items compound to really work with Stellar. So Stellar's pretty easy to make work. Its impact can be high if you have a lot of base spell power, and generally giving HP to your team is pretty good. So I'm actually going to rank it in B because it does overperform compared to C in general. Okay, next up, let's do Stormforce. Stormforce increases your damage to stunned enemies by 100%. In addition, when the fight starts, the enemies get 14 shocks just as it begins. Now, shocks stun enemies when they're hit with spells, so there's a bit of a synergy there within itself. Now, I have used Stormforce in 100% uptime stun builds, and 100% more damage actually isn't that much. If you compare it to something like Abyssal does 450% ethereal damage. If you're in an ethereal damaging team, that's 4.5 times more damage. At the absolute best, Stormforce is 2 times damage. That's at its absolute best, and it's really, really hard to get 100% uptime in stuns. Maybe you got Lizard Boy with the anchor, and he's doing multiple hits. That's still not 100% uptime. Maybe you throw Kasara in there and Flynn with their cast stunning the enemies. You're still not stunning 100% of the time. You really need to make it work, and even then, it's still 100%. And when you're focusing that hard on trying to stun the enemy, you're typically not focusing on damage scaling. You're trying to cast as much as possible, attack as much as possible, or you're using an item slot, something that doesn't do any damage whatsoever. The 14 shocks is nice, but if I'm in a shock build, there are other shock origins I would much rather use. So Stormforce is going into the D category because its impact is pretty mild as it comes in. It's hard to make it work with these stunning percentages, and even then, it's not that incredible in the late game. But let's do a TBC, and I'm just going to throw it right away, Nighthood. Nighthood increases your crit chance and your max mana and applies 12 bleeds to all enemies. There's just a lot going on there, and I've never really fleshed it out, so I don't have too much to say about it. If you like Nighthood, let me know. Put it in the comments and tell me where I should use it and how I should use it. I'd love to give it a go. Now for S tier, let's just go on and throw one in there right now. Let's do Elixir. Not to be confused with Elixir. Increases the max HP of the hero with the most max HP every 2.5 seconds based on the entire team's attack damage. Now, it's not bonus attack damage, so it will work immediately, which is really nice. A key part to this is the heroes also heal, so they don't just gain more max HP, they gain health in that as well. So it's kind of like survivability for probably a tank and also more max HP. Now, you might be asking, how is this offensive? How is this good? The reason it's good is, one, you click it, it comes down, boom, your tank is more survivable. That's just really useful. It doesn't rely on bonus attack damage, so it's not hard to make it work. Everyone's going to have a bit of attack damage, and it's not hard to scale attack damage, as I mentioned with Hellion, so it's going to have quite an impact there. But the payoff for max HP is really strong. There are so many different relics that work with it, and I'm going to get a few on screen right now. Boom, ethereal armor. This does damage to enemies upon getting hit based on max HP. So if you're scaling max HP with this elixir, you have this armor on, you're doing so much ethereal damage back to the enemies. And if your tank also has magic steel, which heals based on ethereal damage, you're healing, you're increasing your max HP, you're damaging. The loot there is crazy. Now, another good one is Gladiator Helmet for the same reason. It's on cast, you do ethereal damage based on max HP. If your max HP is just constantly scaling and you've got Gladiator Helmet, you're having a really good time. Another really nice item that goes well with it is Tomb of Tanking. Tomb of Tanking gives you mana regen based on max HP. So if you have infinite max HP, you have infinite mana. Like, do I need to tell you why that's so powerful? If you have Elixir Master, Tomb of Tanking, and for example, and if you have this hero right here, Azura, you are laughing. Azura scales their damage based on their max HP, grants himself more max HP, and if you have the Tomb of Tanking causing him to scale extremely fast, he's also getting spell power from Giant's Potion. That combination right there is just cracked. It's so good. I love it so much. But another item which is absolutely slept on, this item right here, and this item, by the way, is good without this origin, Malicious Eye Ring. So every second, the hero loses health, max HP based as a percentage, but do spell power based on the amount of HP lost. Given that this is losing max HP, you are damaging yourself a high amount because of the amount of base pool max HP you get from Elixir Master. I'm explaining this poorly, and doing so much damage. And this is an AoE, it's a ring. So it's a single answer to pretty much Act 1 and Act 2, even on I+ with Elixir Master. This is a crazy good combo. Would highly recommend it. It's so fun. Just the amount of fun with Malicious Eye Ring and Elixir Master. Yeah, it's absolutely busted. So I really like it. The only thing Elixir Master doesn't do is damage if you don't have a way of forcing that damage out. But the good thing about this game, I just mentioned so many items that work with this. There are more items that work with it as well. There are cool combinations of things, not to mention your heroes, your tank is just getting stronger. So I'm putting it in S. I've made it work. Every time I've done it, it's just worked really well. And if you've got one hero with a lot of attack damage, it's going to scale the HP even more on the Elixir Master is crazy. I love it. Straight to S tier you go. Now that we've given a bit of definition to each of the different origins, I'm actually going to I'm just going to randomly select things. I'm going to give no thought into which one's going where. But you've got a bit of a basis to work from now to see what the standard is like. I'm in the mood for some dino action. Let's do Archaic. So, Archaic summons a dinosaur on the field. It gains the team's max HP and attack damage, like a percentage of it, which are 30%. It also gains 25% attack speed per summon on the battlefield, and also acts as 4 summons in one, which is really good. There's a lot of summon strategies that work well with more summons, such as any drakes, red, blue, or yellow drakes. It works well with a few items, such as a necklace that increases spell power over time, depending on the number of summons on the field. So some good synergies just with the 4 summons alone. Next up is the Raptor itself. To make it work, you really have to put energy into your HP, your attack damage, and the number of summons on the field, which you can do. There's lots of heroes that summon different creatures. There's lots of passives you can pick up. I'll throw a few of these on the screen now so you can see what I'm talking about. But I found Archaic, even investing all that, he can be good. Like he's kind of like another hero essentially at that point. But I would typically rather other origins for summon builds that are easier to get online, have a bigger impact on the board than Archaic. Having said that, Archaic does just come down and do stuff. You don't need to think too much. Its damage is pretty good, helps you through the early acts. Don't think its endgame scaling is insane. I'm close to putting it in TBC, to be honest, because I haven't played with him too much. But based on what I have played, I'd put him in B. So we've done summon. Let's do something, let's do Guardian. Guardian creates an aura around a hero with the most defense and does spell damage around that hero based on the defense every 3 seconds. So it's essentially just a pulse of damage based on defense. This is really easy to make work, right? So every hero is gonna have defense. And in fact, it's your team's bonus defense, not your base defense. So typically you do have some defense, but it works particularly good in some builds. For example, if you've got Elios. Elios puts out his aura, and especially if you've got 100% uptime of that aura, gives your whole team a lot of defense. Boom, this Guardian is going to do even more damage. All you need to do is make sure that whoever's getting aggro has the highest defense so that the aura goes around that hero. This is pretty easy to make work. And one thing I do like about Guardian is that it scales your defense into damage. So by going into your defensive with defense, literally, with Elias or items, it increases your damage, which I do like. And the damage I have done with Guardian hasn't been like astronomical. It's been good sometimes. Like if you've got that perfect Elias build with the defense scaling, with that, you know, that little, the legendary shield that increases your defense over time, just all the different defense items on screen now, Guardian can be pretty good, but it does require quite an investment in defense. You need to make sure it's on the right hero, and I've never had its damage be crazy. I'm actually going to place it in C. I would rather these two than Guardian in most builds. I want to do Time Travelers. So Time Travelers procs when your heroes get below 40%, and on that proc, everyone casts. So it's just a nuke that goes off, and based on the amount of damage they do, will heal your hero with the lowest HP. So this is inherent healing, it's inherent damage or utility through casting. It can be really powerful, and in fact, it's rarely ever useless, especially in the early acts. In the early acts, this will just carry you through Act 1. It will help you tremendously in Act 2, but it does fall off from there. I think though, given that it just comes down, heals, damages, casts, it works with any build in the entire game, Time Travelers is really strong. I think because of that late game lack of ability to scale and the cooldown of 12 seconds, which is quite a lot. Typically you're only getting one of these off per battle, which still has quite an impact, but it's still just one team-wide cast. I'm going to put it in A tier. It doesn't quite hit the S tier, but it is really strong. Then let's do Zenith. Let's do the debuff origin. So Zenith strips away your debuffs, burn, bleed, frost, shot, and then increases your team's attack damage, healing, and shielding. Zenith, obviously, its upside is actually the best in the entire game. 12,000% more damage, healing, shielding is crazy. If you get that going, it actually is broken. It is the strongest origin in the game if it works. The thing is, getting it to work is difficult. You need to really work around it. You need to accidentally have the right heroes that are applying these debuffs. But even then, it takes time to scale. You want fast debuffs. You don't just want, like, for example, Light won't be applying enough burn to make this really go crazy. You want like a fire cloak, and you want multiple on hit items that apply debuffs. Through my 500-600 hours gameplay, I've made Zenith work twice. One of those games was crazy strong. The other game was just pretty good. We did win, and then I've never really been presented with any other times that it would work. Because of how limited the opportunities are to make Zenith work, it's going in D tier. It's just so infrequent, I just can't put it above that. If you can make it work, awesome. Enjoy your run. It's going to be fun. You're going to watch the enemies melt away. Other than that, though, probably shy away unless you're coming in strong with your debuffs. I want to do another summon one. I like Ravenlord a lot. Ravenlord is genuinely one of my favorite origins in the entire game because it does something with summon builds that all the other origins don't do. For every 200 healing plus shielding done, I believe it's either or, it's just 200 total, deal damage to the lowest percent HP enemy equal to 30 spell damage per summon. So you've been in a summon build and you've got the Bestiary Relic, which increases your max summons, or you've got multiple summons on the field because you've got like Joanna and Zephyrus with all their summons. Maybe you got Dagon in there as well. If you focus on shielding and healing, you can do so much damage with Ravenlord. One hero, and this might be a bit counterintuitive because they don't have summons, that I love with this is Rose. Rose does a heal, but it says allies. It doesn't say heroes. That includes your summons. So if you've got like 10 summons on the field, you are healing so much in that ring, and that ring is a massive AoE. That is so much healing to then convert into damage with Ravenlord. Then if you're in a team with like Dagon, Layla, Zephyrus, and literally on the screen right now, you've got enough summons to be doing significant damage. The reason I prefer someone like Rose over Cora is that Cora's heal only targets heroes. So you're minimizing your targets by probably 3 times if you choose Cora over Rose. The benefit of Cora is she does actually produce shield, which helps Ravenlord as well. So they're both pretty decent characters, but Rose in particular, chef's kiss. Ravenlord's damage can be really high, but you do need to be in a summon build. There are really good items that go well with shielding as well. So you've got the armor that does, you got this armor, golden armor. I'll put it on the screen, You got golden armor, which shields you based on the damage you deal. Boom, awesome. You've got things like Legionnaire's hat, which just give your whole team lifesteal magic steal. So their damage is converted into heals. Crazy. That's just like more damage from this origin. There are lots of ways to make this work, even though you do need to make it work. So it doesn't come down and immediately do something. There are lots of ways to turn it on, and its damage can be really high. Like you could be nuking. I I've won many runs of Ravenlord, where it's been my primary source of damage. All I'm doing in the backline is being an absolute coward and healing and shielding my way through fights, hoping Ravenlord does its thing. I really like Ravenlord. It's going in A. Its damage is good. The fact that you need to heal means that you have sustainability inherently from its use. You just need to make sure you have a summon build. Let's do like some casting type one. Let's go like Portal Master. Portal Master increases a hero's mana regen by 3 times once their health gets below 60%. So it's kind of similar to Hellion in the sense it procs after a certain loss of life, but this is for casting. Portal Master is a really interesting one. You pretty much do not need to do anything to make it work. You click it, it comes down, and all your casters are having a really good time. Especially Bone Necklace is perfect for Portal Master. It reduces their life below 60% and gives them more base mana to triple once it's procced from Portal Master. So Portal Master is really good for your casters. I am a fanboy of Portal Master. It's really easy to get it going, but it won't carry you through a run. You still need to make sure you're itemizing for damage. You still need to make sure that you have a payoff from Portal Master. One I really like to do is, it's a typical one for me, but Telekinetic Glove. So Telekinetic Glove does ethereal damage based on your attack damage per mana regen. If you have Portal Master, then you're tripling your mana regen. You're just absolutely blowing their enemies out of the water. I think Portal Master is so easy to get online. You just need a bit of mana on your heroes. Pick up a Book of Mana. Pick up a Caster Amulet. Boom, Portal Master is online. You are casting 3 to 4 times faster. Literally 4 times faster. I don't know why I'm approximating wrong. I really like Portal Master, but it doesn't do damage immediately. You do need to kind of make it work with your items, your other relics, your heroes, etc. And it won't work well in attack damage builds. Shrop doesn't care about Portal Master. He does nothing with it. A lot of the attack damage characters don't, and attack damage is the stronger way to play the game. For the earlier difficulties, at least. It's somewhere between A and B. For now, I'm going to throw it in A. It's just that flexible, that easy to implement. You just pick up, if you have a caster team and you see Portal Master, you click it and you're going to be happy, because a lot of casters have base mana just to begin with. They start with it, so it's going to be online immediately. Okay, we're going heavy in the A's here. Eye of the Forest. Every 3 seconds, heal the lowest percent hero as a percentage of your team's bonus HP every 3 seconds. Pretty easy one to implement, right? All you need is max HP on your team, bonus, and then heal your tank. Pretty straightforward. I don't really have much to say about it. One thing I do have to say about it is I've actually never clicked it. I am a thrill seeker and a risk taker. This is quite boring for me in my gameplay. I play games for fun at the end of the day. And then there's many other ways to heal, such as literally anything over here, like these things here. For that reason, I don't feel like I'm in a position to rank it. It's probably as high as A, given that you just heal for nothing. But I'm actually going to put it in TBC. Now, we did one shielding. Let's do the other. Spell Shield, is it? Spell Warden. So Spell Warden gives defense to your entire team based on 6% of the team's spell power. It does have a cap at 300, but if you get to 300, you're laughing because that's a lot of defense to have. Spell Warden's interesting. You would think, oh, well, I'm not in a spell power team, so it's pretty garbage. I don't want that. But even if you have one hero with a lot of spell power scaling, they could have Masker Druid in a summon build. They could have Mana Shree in a max mana build. They could just have accumulation of spell power through Retrimation's Glasses, Sorcerer's Hat. They could just have a few improvised staffs going. You're actually going to be able to reach the limit pretty easily. And 300 defense across your entire team is insane. It means that everyone can tank an enemy. It means you can split up aggro with 5 times. It means you have all these other defense payoffs. There's items in the game that go crazy with that defense. Gladiator Shield, boom, even more defense. That's crazy. We have Smoldering Armor, which is damage based on defense. There are just so many cool synergies with defense, including Dark Guard's armor, Dark Guard's shield, which does ethereal damage every 2 seconds based on defense. There's some cool defense synergies. It's easy to turn on. It's team-wide sustainability. It has so much utility. It's not hard to get the spell power. This thing goes crazy. And I'm telling you right now, in I+, this thing has saved me on multiple runs. If you had a bit of lifesteal, magic steal, or increased max health, you're compounding your defenses so substantially. It works in pretty much every build. Even if you're in an attack damage build, you can always have one character that goes crazy with spell power. This is S tier. Spell Warden is S tier. Would highly recommend picking it up. It's really, really strong. On the topic of max HP, which we've talked about for a while now, let's do Fel Protector. I really like Fel Protector. Early on in the game, it was one of the first origins I really found cool synergies with. First, let me tell you what it is. So it creates an aura around the hero with the most max HP and does damage based on that max HP every 3 seconds. It's based on bonus max HP. So like I said before, it's not just base HP. You will do nothing unless you have a green armor, which you probably want anyway. It means that investing more max HP into your tank does more damage. So more survivability is more damage. Really good. And it works extremely, extremely well. Anything that increases max health. Malachite. perfect example. Elvish Shoulders, 2,500 max HP. Even if it's not healed, it doesn't matter. It's just max HP. You can have it completely empty. Well, not completely because they'll be dead, but you can have it mostly empty and it's still doing the max damage. And combo that with a bit of magic steel, it's healing it back. It's quite a strong origin. One comment I would have about it is that you really need to go hard into max HP, and you do need the few items that work with it. Its damage isn't crazy. I've made it work quite well in the past, and the best way to scale max HP, unfortunately, is other origins, you know, such as Elixir Master. So I won't put Fel Protector that high, but it is pretty easy to make work. It's good damage, and as a beginner, it should carry you through the early acts, absolutely, on those easier difficulties as well. I really like Fel Protector. Once you get it going, it just absolutely slaps. So wherever I put it, for that reason, it's another A. I'm going heavy in the A's, guys. I need to, this is not intentional. It's just, there's a lot of origins in this game which just slap so hard. Okay, let's jump back to summons. Let's go you Gryphon Rider. To every summon on the battlefield, you give your team 12 spell power. You got 10 summons. Every single hero that you have has 120 spell power. It's easy to set up and has immediate impact. Its ceiling though is not that high. So like I said, if you have 10 summons, which is quite a lot, you're only getting 120 spell power per hero. That sounds like a lot, but it isn't that much. There are other ways to get like thousands of spell power rather than just hundreds in builds. And to really make it work, you probably want like a couple bestiaries, or maybe just off the bat, you could have Gryphon Rider with the Seahorse Relic, which gives you 10 default summons. Either way, its impact is pretty good. It's easy to implement. It's just like, it's really solid. And I think Swarmlord is pretty much the same except better, because Swarmlord scales percent attack damage. So if you have base high attack damage, which is really easy to do with a lot of different items, just Copper Axe alone is enough. Swarmlord can go off because if you've got 10 summons, that's 50% more attack damage. And then you can keep scaling your base damage to really get the payoff from Swarmlord. Even though it is percent, I think they're relatively similar. There are a lot of other origins I would rather than these two in builds to really break the game and go to that next level of damage or survivability or whatever. So I'm going to put them both. Where is the Gryphon Rider? Yeah. I'm going to put them both in B. I'm quarter of the way through. There are so many freaking origins and so much to talk about. I'm going to throw a few in TBC now that I haven't played with enough, just so that we can kind of put those below and we can get them out of our mind. What I really want, guys, if you like any of the ones in TBC, let me know so that I can correct the video or at least play with them and understand how they work well with other synergies. So we've got this one and we have this one. Frost Golem and Icyvern. So Icyvern does spell damage based on the number of frosts times by the team's spell power. I imagine this does quite a lot of damage because in frost builds, you typically want to be a caster because frost increases the amount of spell damage you're doing and this scales off the team's spell power. So this is inherently quite a synergistic origin. I've just not picked it up many times. I've never really given it a go. I've had so many opportunities with frost, but I think I just choose Ice Riders in those games. In all honesty, I think frost is one of my least played of all debuffs, which is probably why that's happening here. And then a Frost Golem increases attack damage based on frost. And I find in my frost builds, I typically am a caster, so I'm more likely to pick up Icyvern than Frost Golem. I don't know how good these are. To me, they both seem really strong. I'm not gonna lie. They don't require much setup. They're both just frost. You just need frost builds. Pretty easy to know when you want to do that. But I've just not played them enough. So they're both going in TBC. Let's do Concealed. No, Concealed. So for every 700 shielding you do, there's lots of ways to shield through Naomi, Golden Armor that I mentioned, and through the Sierra or the... I'll put it on screen. Haha, power of editing. All heroes gain 1 mana regen, and then once you reach 7 stacks of that mana regen, all heroes gain 35 spell power. Now, this one's really simple and easy to get online. It's not hard to generate 700 shield with all the different items and synergies in the game. It's giving mana to teams, typically quite good. 7 mana regen. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That's 2 of the feather relics, and then some without the negative of the attack damage. And then 35 spell power is pretty close to nothing. It's not very much. The fact that Concealed is quite easy to get online, has no immediate impact, and even then it takes a while to get going, and its upside is quite limited. It's quite a weak origin. There's so many other origins that are just way more busted than it. I think Concealed's a pretty mid pick, so I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna leave it in C, to be honest, just because of how easy it is to get online. Like, I'd rather choose that than Zenith because at least it's doing something, but it's something isn't that powerful. And if you think about the 7 mana regen, with this is 4 times. So all you need is 2 base mana regen and Portal Master to outclass this, and this can be instant. With a bit of self-damaging, this Portal Master gives you way more mana than this ever will, and 35 spell power to team, negligible. I love this game. All right. Let's do Celestial. So what Celestial does, so Celestial, every time you do ethereal damage, there's a 26% chance to apply a bleed and a frost to all enemies. Celestial, top tier for me. I'm a Celestial enjoyer for sure. There's lots of things that work well with bleed and frost. For bleed, you've got hemorrhage from Nox. You've got damage scaling from Cairo. You've just got increased crit damage just in general. So any crit builds can work quite well. Frost, on the other hand, have some items that are absolutely, just actually cracked. Yeah, Ritual Axe. Ritual Axe can do bonkers damage based on Frost. 6 times the Frost. And if you're applying more ethereal damage, this is doing more damage, but not to mention Ritual Axe does ethereal damage to begin with. So this is a perfectly synergistic item to go with that Origin. It can do crazy damage. The Origin can help with Frozen One's bonking. Bonking being stunning, by the way. I'm going to refer to that a lot. It works really well with Enchanted Claw, which just does 2 times ethereal damage based on the debuffs and enemies if you're critting. Really cool synergies there. It works well with Staff of Clash because of the bleeds. There's just so many different items that work with those debuffs, not to mention the benefit from the debuffs themselves. And also the fact that ethereal is really good at damage. The thing is though, if you don't have much ethereal damage to begin with, it's damaging too slowly. You're not actually implementing many procs of those debuffs because it is only, at the end of the day, it's only a 26% chance. You need to be hitting like a machine gun with ethereal to really go crazy with Celestial. So it is actually hard to get that top end, but it does have a top end. And because it has so many synergies across all the different items in the game, I love Celestial. One thing I'm particularly fond of, which a lot of people would disagree with me because at the end of the day, it's not that strong, but I just love it as an item. It's just fun, and I like fun, is Psychic Dagger. Psychic Dagger, whenever you generate mana, does ethereal damage to the enemy. So if you have a hero with a lot of mana regen, he's just like ding, 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 hitting the enemies a lot with ethereal, which is doing all the triggers for the ethereal damage, giving you bleeds and frosts, which scales your other items. A really cool combo is Flynn, Caster Amulet, Caster Amulet. On one Caster Amulet, you've got Psychic Dagger. On the other Caster Amulet, you've got Ritual Axe. The Ritual Axe will proc from the Psychic Dagger, because it says here, and can apply instant attacks, which can apply ethereal damage. So these two combined with Caster Amulets, with that Origin, it's magnifique. And then you have a third item and third recipe to put on that hero, increase their mana more. Like, just put another Psychic Dagger on them. Go crazy with it. Really fun, really, really good time. Would recommend. I like it, Celestial, but again, you need to have a lot of ethereal damage, and that's not that common. Because of that, it's going in B tier. I think its upside is just too good to not put in B, and I am a fanboy, so you can't stop me. Speaking of debuffs, should we dip our little toesies into the double bleed, double shock, double burn, and double frost? These Origins double the amount of debuffs you're doing to the enemies based on the different type of debuff that is. Not much more to say about them, really, like in terms of what they do. How easy are they to implement? One thing I would never recommend doing is choosing this and then going into bleed. Don't do that. Do it if you have the items already. If you have 4 burn characters, then you see old mate here and you are laughing. You are laughing all the way to the bank because you realize your Pyro is about to go insane with spell power. You know he's going to burn them to absolute oblivion. You know your Reborn Atrios is going to be hitting like a bazooka every time he hits with that 1,000 damage amplification. Or, you know, Magmus is going to be giving the team 1,000,000 defense per second because of his Reborn cast. And even if he's not Reborn, boom, Lava Eruption, 300% damage burn amplification. Really, really nice. So I would be choosing these after the fact, and 4 items that go crazy with these are the armors, which amplify your amount of debuff. Yeah, so you got Bleed, which is 70%. Frost Armor, 60%, Thundering Helmet, 80%, and Fire Cloak, which is 60%. So on hit, they'll do the debuff to the enemy, which will then be duplicated by your Origin. These items obviously go quite well on your tank. These items in combination with that Origin, absolutely busted, can be so strong. Now, one thing I got told the other day, and I've not verified it, but I have been told that if you've got Christmas Tree on a hero, enemy damage is taken over 4 seconds instead of being instant. What this will do is when you get hit with 1 attack, it will turn it into 4 attacks over 4 seconds. Those 4 attacks convert into 4 procs of Fire Cloak, Thundering Helmet, Frozen Armor, Blood Knight's Armor. So if your tank has Christmas Tree, one of these items in association with the Origin, which doubles the debuffs, you're applying hundreds of debuffs. Hundreds and hundreds of debuffs per fight. It's a really cool combo. Based on that alone, they're really strong, really easy to implement if you have the team there. Now, I would say you do need the team first before you click them. I find they're a bit difficult to retroactively fit because if you don't get the items, just you flop, you fail, and you don't do too well. I'm going to be putting them in B tier. For me, they have a similar vibe as these two, Ravenlord and whatever the other one's called. They have a similar like power level, and same with Celestial. They all kind of are really good in their niche. You do need to build around them. They can flop if you don't build them correctly, but their upside is never ending, depending on how much debuffs you're doing, ethereal damage you're doing, or summons you're summoning. So those four, straight into B tier. Now, we've not done too many of these purple guys, so let's go ahead and grab one. Let's grab the boat. So El Buto is Elitist. Increases your surge cooldown, which just means you surge slightly slower. Every attack you gain 7 energy. So it just means in a high attack speed build, you are surging quite quickly, which is quite cool. There is no payoff for that. That is not a payoff. You need surge items to really get the benefit from this origin. So that's just one little note before I go into the next part. Next, every crit you do with the hero gives more attack speed to your team, but reduces your crit chance. So essentially what this means is if you start out with a high attack speed team with lots of crit chance, you can increase your attack speed even further. It strips away the crit chance, which is interesting. So what this might work well in is in a build where you want a lot of attack speed, but you want to get away with your crit chance. You don't need the crit chance anymore. Maybe you chuck in old mate Gerald. Maybe you chuck Gerald. Give the aura of the critical to the team. Everyone increases their crit chance. Everyone increases their attack damage. Boom. The team needs to crit to increase their attack speed. And the surge has no power unless you have the surge items. Elitist has a lot of cool outlets and synergies. It opens up a lot of doors, but it doesn't move the person through the door. If you like that analogy. You need to really, I guess, think about what you're doing once you click Elitist, or hopefully have a team that just works well. You know, you've got your Gerald, you've got your attack speed team, boom, good. I'm not a huge fan of Elitist. I'd rather be doing a lot of other things with Surge. For example, literally anything else in this row, I would pick above Elitist typically. But I haven't really experimented too much. Elitist is borderline TBC for me, but I think because of my experience with it so far, I'm actually going to put it D. Its payoff requires thought planning, and this is a beginner-friendly list, so I'm throwing it in D. Let me know if I've got that wrong, or like if you disagree. On the topic of critical hits, Warmonger, here we go. So, all heroes gain critical chance based on the team's mana regen. Interesting. Next, each critical chance in excess of 100% increases their crit damage by 10%. That's really cool, because it's not just 1-to-1 rate conversion, it's a 1-to-10 conversion. Now, capping to 100 crit chance is going to be quite difficult, because you need a lot of mana regen to do that. And one thing I would mention with this crit chance is that crit teams typically attack damage. They don't care too much about mana regen. So there's a little bit of a counter synergy there, but if you have a team that are attacking pretty quickly, you have any Omni crit in your team, such as Zoe, Luco, Ralph, or you have a team that has a bit of mana regen that it has nice high attack damage, then Warmonger can go quite well, such as Blake. Blake's got a base 20% crit chance off the top of my head. He likes a bit of mana to cast more frequently, and then if we can cap his crit chance through the mana regen, this can go quite well. I like a Warmonger. It doesn't take much to turn it on. Its impact is pretty good. Its upside can be really high because of the crit damage scaling. I really like Warmonger. It's just, it doesn't come down and absolutely blow the game out of the water, but its impact is easy to implement. It's a B tier. It's with the rest of these. It's B. B's gonna have a really long list. And in fact, I'm pretty confident that B will be bigger than C based on just my vibe for where this is going. Let's do Thundercaller, because we've just done some of the debuff ones. We can do another one right now. It's Thundercaller, right? Yeah, Thundercaller. So every 1.5 seconds, you do spell damage to the enemy with the most shocks based on your team's bonus attack damage. It's interesting the word bonus is underlined here, but not underlined for all the other origins, by the way. Obviously, for an attack damage build, because you need the attack damage to really help the scaling here, I've made Thundercaller work. It's hard, because most of the shock builds in the game are caster builds. Like, you got Flynn, Zog, you've got any of the tanks which just want to cast as much as possible. I actually don't like attack damage builds with shock, so there's a bit of a pretty strong counter synergy, at least from my experience. But 1.5 seconds is quick. This is casting pretty rapidly, and getting shocks on enemies can be quite easy when you've got the Thundering Helmet, which has the 80% proc or whatever it is, to give a shock on the enemy. Thundercaller can have a big upside if you have the attack damage scaling. Like I've mentioned before, there's a lot of items that go with that. I'll throw a few on the screen now. They go quite well with Thundercaller in combination with shock. Despite all that, I've never really picked it up too much. Like in my shock builds, I typically want to duplicate, I typically want to duplicate the number of shocks that I have more rapidly through this debuff here. Or maybe I just want other synergies, like I want to increase the amount of surge levels I have or increase the team survivability with this guy down here. I rarely want to pick this over this. So for that reason, I'm putting it in C. But in the niche that it does work, you for some reason have a really good attack damage scaling team, and you've got the shocks to deliver, boom. This is going to be one of the stronger picks for your team. I think that's probably the same for Wyvern and this guy. I think these two in the right builds are going to be really strong. I've just not used these as much. So let's go Angel. So for every summon on the battlefield, you get 10% shield received, and every 4 seconds, all summons gain attack damage equal to the total team's shield. So this is really going all in on the shield your team and let your summons do all the work for you. So you probably want Naomi in there, dishing out that shield to Sierra to give your team-wide shield. That's a lot of effort to get that online, and then attack damage to the summons relies on you having a lot of summons. So you kind of need both the summons and the shielding to make this work. I've never chosen Angel and gone, oh, awesome, but I've never really tried to either. I think I can't fairly give this a go, but in my mind, it's just a worse Ravenlord, because all you need to do with Ravenlord is heal and shield and have summons. This you need to shield your team completely, not just one character, but your entire team to get the real upside. And Ravenlord also allows you to heal, which is Magic Steal, Life Steal, which you want in your team to survive anyway. So in my mind, Angel is a worse Ravenlord, nearly in every way, and that's probably why I never pick it, because I pick Ravenlord when the opportunity presents itself. So I'm going to put this in TBC, so I'm not too critical, but my mind wants to put it in D. So you let me know if that's not the case. Let's put Jaded, what's it called? Jaded Dawn? Yeah, Jaded Dawn. So whenever you regenerate 5 mana with mana regen from your team, you get 70 energy. That's really nice. So in a caster build, boom, you surge, you get your levels, you implement your mana regen, you're happy. Flynn is happy with this. He loves the surge payoff. But more importantly about Jaded Dawn is the second part. And when I say more importantly, it's like far more important. Increasing your cap for surge can be really, really broken. In fact, my first ever 2 wins on I+ was with Jaded Dawn. Like, it's insane to increase your surge cap by 10, bringing it to 22. The payoffs are, like, it's pretty numerous. There's no point me going through all of them, but like Gloomy Mace, that's another 100, that's another 200 spell power and 200 attack damage with the upgraded Gloomy Mace. It's another 20 mana regen from Ring of Surge, which partners up really well with the Origin because it gives you more mana to then scale it more quickly. By the way, to surge quickly, Turquoise Ring, absolutely my favorite. The fight, like you can pretty much insta-surge with Turquoise Ring, would recommend. I also really like Rapier in any attack damage build to surge. A little off topic, but whatever, I've said it now. And if you want to increase your surge level even further, you can go ahead and crank that hat. What is it called? The Energy Hat, it increases it by another 5, which is quite nice. So yeah, you want to pick up like Energy Hat if you can in that build to get it to 27, which is crazy. The payoff is actually astronomical. It's really good. And then you might want to also consider doing things like Sun Staff, where you give your team mana regen, because your whole team generating mana, which is surging you faster. Happy days. The upside for this is incredible, because Surge is Surge is essentially one of the stronger mechanics in the game. There's a lot of heroes that benefit from it. There's a lot of reborns that benefit from it. There's a lot of items. It's not hard to get the payoff you want here. It's also not hard to surge quickly with the items that I've just mentioned as well. So Jaded Dawn, really strong. The thing is though, with all that upside, when it comes down, it does nothing. It does actually nothing. So it can't be S tier because it does nothing. It just won't save a run. It will just kill it. But with a little bit of investment, it can actually break the game. So I think with all those factors, I can't put it in S, and it's probably going to go in like low A, maybe high B. I really like it. I have more luck with this than any of these other ones here, but I probably, like, these have probably a better payoff. All right, I tell you what, we've got enough in B right now. Let's put it at the bottom of the A. It's a brand new day. I've had an outfit change. Time to get into the second half of these Origins. Why do I feel like I need to introduce myself again? Hello, this is Spec. Anyway, okay, so what are we doing? I'm just looking at Mastermind, and I just want to, let's do Mastermind to start the day off. So, Mastermind increases the team spell power based on the max mana of your hero with the most max mana. And then if that hero has 20 max mana, your team get 45% spell power. So this is a significant amount of spell power. One thing I'm going to immediately point out is that when your hero gets to 20 max mana, it doesn't stop raising your base spell power, it just triggers the 45%. So if you have 40 max mana, you're going to have 40 by 3, which is 120 spell power, then times that by 45% spell power, which is like another third. It's like 150 plus 160, 170 spell power, which is a lot to give to the entire team based on one hero. Mastermind is pretty strong in my opinion. Obviously when it comes down, it does very little because typically a hero, the max mana you're gonna have on a hero is 7, right? So you're not gonna hit that 20 threshold, and 7 by 3 is 21 spell power across the team. So that's just scraping the surface. It's not gonna be doing much. So it comes down, doesn't have a huge impact, but it is very easy to scale max mana in this game. And max mana, and this is, let's go on a max mana rant. It's a new day, I've got some energy. Max mana, in my opinion, is one of the strongest archetypes in this game because there are many different ways to increase max mana and then get benefit from the max mana. So we have the max mana, producers and the max mana payoffs. So I'm going to throw up some items here to produce max mana, and then I'm going to show a few payoffs. So produce max mana, Soul Blade, increases max mana by 50% and damage by 50%. That's a lot of extra max mana, especially if you have a base high value. Here's the payoff for max mana, Mega Drill. This makes it so you can do instant attacks and fill your mana every 4 seconds. This doesn't care how much mana regen you have or how much mana you have, it just fills your mana. So like these items could go quite well with each other, for example. Wonderbot's Helmet, great for max mana. On cast, you gain max mana, but you accrue spell power and attack speed over time. I love this item on Ola. I love this item on Emily. It goes really well. Enchanted Arrow, there's a payoff, 105% attack speed. One of my favorite payoffs and also scalers of max mana, that's why I like it because it's both. At the 10-second point, so it only does it once. At the 10-second point, you gain max mana equal to 10% of your spell power and bonus attack damage, and then do 3 casts. This on Ola goes crazy because when Ola casts, she gains more attack damage. And so when she casts 3 times in a row, you're bursting her attack damage up with this item. All you're going to do is survive to 10 seconds, which is sometimes easier said than done. Then we've got Mana Stream that just increases your attack damage and spell power based on your max mana. So there's who cares if you ever cast again if you're just getting that much attack damage from your max mana. You can scale your max mana up with this to then pay off with this, and then you've got some really strong attack damage in character because you're getting base attack value from this and then percent scaling attack damage from this. 2 items that go well together. And then there are just so many other items in this game that are absolutely broken with max mana. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't done it, give it a go. And so because of that, it's really easy to get 20 max mana in this game. It's actually just a piece of cake. And when you do, Mastermind comes down and it absolutely slays. You obviously don't want to be doing Mastermind in an attack damage build, but that's about the only constraint. Typically when I'm doing a run, I like one negative attack speed character, like I said before, the Shackles and the Shamanic Mixture. I like one max mana character to keep all these synergies open, and then one just standard attack damage character, standard spell power character, and maybe like a tank. Mastermind goes well in most builds as long as you have a spell power payoff. I think it's really powerful, and I think it's easy to implement. The only downside is it's not good for attack damage builds, but oh well. That's gone straight into A, starting the day strong. And I've skimmed some of these down here, guys. There's going to be some strong origins to go. Let's take another one off the end. Forest Warrior. For every 110% health healed, all heroes get 1 attack damage, which caps at 60. And then once they reach that, they get 15% crit chance. So in a way, its function is kind of similar to Mastermind in the way that you gain attack damage instead of spell power. And then when you reach that certain cap of 60, you get the crit chance. But it's also very different to Mastermind because Mastermind's uncapped. You can continue getting spell power forever, depending on how much max mana you have. This gives you base 60 attack. 60 attack, okay. It's actually pretty good early game. And then that 15% crit chance is a multiplicative damage scaler of that 60 attack damage because the crit scales with your attack damage. This is pretty good, and it's not hard to heal. Everyone's probably going to get a bit of life steal, magic steal, maybe you have a healer, maybe you have a relic, whatever. This is a very easy one to accommodate. You click it, it's going to help your team. It pretty much helps every team in the entire game, unless your whole team's negative attack speed, which I would never ever recommend. Forest Warrior is pretty good. It caps at 60 attack damage. There is no infinite scaling. This is not an Act 3, Act 4 origin. This is designed to help you in Act 1 and 2. It does it well. It does help you out quite well there. It's kind of like Hellion, except Hellion can keep scaling you more and more because it's 22% of the highest attack damage. But Forest Warrior, it's faster acting. It applies more attack damage earlier game. Like, this is like an Act 1, this is like an Act 2, 3, and then Act 4 we can get into that later type of origin. I think you shouldn't be choosing it for Act 3 and 4, but you can definitely use it for Act 1 and 2 to help you get by. It's going to go on B because I think it is, for its purpose, for its use case, it's reliable. All right, let's do one of my longest standing favorite origins. I say it a lot, but this one genuinely was one of my favorite, L.U.X. L.U.X does, every time you heal 5 mana with your team, you do spell damage to the enemy based on 40 times the amount of debuffs on the enemy with the most debuffs. This is interesting because you need debuffs to make it work. You also need mana, so you kind of need quite a bit of investment. You probably can't just click L.U.X and it works. But I would say on caster builds, you typically are debuffing. You know, you've got Blake shooting out his, I always use Blake, I don't know why. Blake shooting out his fire that does the two burns. You've got Flynn doing the shocks. You've got Arya laying down the frost. So I think L.U.X is pretty good. And especially if you already have the debuffs there or you already have the mana, L.U.X can be really strong. You chuck a few bone amulets in there, you chuck a few cloaks or armors that do the debuffing, and boom, you're going to do a lot of damage to this. I've had L.U.X carry me a lot. I've not had it carry me a lot in I+. I think it's a little bit too difficult to get online in I+, but the damage can be pretty astronomical, especially in Flame Master. I loved L.U.X is my ultimate Flame Master origin. It's somewhere between B and C. It's not absolutely crazy, but I do prefer it to these ones here. I think it is easier to get online because debuffs do synergize with spell power, unlike critting in spell power. So I'm probably going to put it at the top of the C, just because B's looking a little cluttered. But I like L.U.X a lot. Now what I'm going to do is get all the TBCs and throw them in TBC so you don't need to worry about them anymore. And then that way we can just press on with the actual final ones I can and can't rate. I can rate. So this Mech, I haven't used it enough. I know Mech's going to be good, but I just need to give it more of a go. I haven't really tested its limits. This Templar, I feel like Templar has a really strong upside because giving more max HP is broken, as I discussed with Elixir. I've just not done it because it's kind of weird. Like, you want total mana, you want shield, but then it gives max HP. It's kind of a strange combination. One thing that I see working really well for it is that your shield is capped to your max HP. So if you have 1,000 health, you can only get 1,000 shield. But if you're increasing someone's max HP, then you're increasing the amount of shield they can get. So this could go really well with the Fossil Ring, for example. It could scale someone just crazily there. It could go well with Sierra. I can see Templar being like A, B tier. I've just not used it enough. Then there's Blood Cleric. So Blood Cleric is just one I've not clicked up because it's not very button to me. In bleed builds, you know, there's pretty much most of these up here I'm going to be wanting to do more than Blood Cleric. I like to find my healing through lifesteal in bleed builds because you're doing physical damage. Hellion, just every day of the week over Blood Cleric. So let's just go and put these in TBC. Templar, Totemic. Let's do Totemic. A bit, speaking on the subject of healing, we have Totemic. Every 3 seconds, you heal based on 16 times your max mana. Bonus max mana, by the way, is bonus. So I discussed before with old mate up here, Mastermind. So it's very easy to get bonus max mana. And I typically don't like heals, but Totemic heals all heroes, not just one, not just your least health. This is team-wide, which is really strong. I have used Totemic once. When I used it, I barely tried to make it work, and it slapped. Totemic is really strong. I really like Totemic. Max mana is easy to get. I would comment that when you click it, it does nothing. You need to have max mana to begin with because it doesn't do it based off your base max mana. But like I said, there's so many items, bang, that increase max mana that will make it very strong. Not to mention, if you're doing a lot of healing from your origin, you can focus on damage with the rest of your team. And with a bit of added layer of defense, like, you know, lifesteal, defense, shielding, you're going to be invincible. Totemic's quite strong. I like Totemic. It's going into A tier. Arcane Weaver, huh? Arcane Weaver. Now, this is one when I wasn't very good at the game. I thought was one of the best origins in the entire game because it comboed with my favorite thing of all, which was Telekinetic Glove. Typically works in attack damage builds, so you're critting quite a lot. The critting generates more mana. So what it says is every 3 crits, you get 1 mana regen to your entire team. Then over time, I've been less hot on it because it's a little slow. Getting these crits in means your team needs to have a lot of crit chance. Even if you're at 50% across the team, you're still probably only attacking less than once a second per hero, which is an average of 2.5 crits per second. So you're not even getting 1 mana regen per second with this one. Typically, I like something to come down and boom, help you out. Mastermind, boom, gives your team 120 spell power plus 45% instantly because you've got one hero with a lot of max mana. This comes down, does literally nothing, it scales up. So Arcane Weaver can work well in a defensive build where you can just tank it a little bit at the start, then accrue more mana to dish out the damage. There's a few heroes that really like this. I think Luco goes well with it because he's a high crit based casting character. I also really like Savos with Arcane Weaver because Savos will shoot out more and more bots. So there's a payoff, and typically you want them to be spell power bots. So you're giving everyone more and more spell power, you're casting more and more, so your casts become more powerful and faster. So it's quite a rapid acceleration of damage there. But Arcane Weaver needs really high base crit, and it needs to have payoff from mana regen. So there's two things there. It doesn't do anything immediately. Its upside, I think, is really strong. In the right build, Arcane Weaver will just blow the enemies out of the water. It won't do anything immediately. I'm going to leave it at C. I think it's a really strong C next to L.U.X. I think these two are really at a similar level of good. They both require two things: debuffs, mana regen, crit, and mana regen payoff. But their upside is crazy. Just like, just honestly, just like all of these. This is probably the only one that doesn't have a crazy payoff. At the end of the video, I'm going to reorder these based on strength within each row. So at the moment, it's not ordered that way. I will do that later so you can see what I truly rank every single one of these things, whether that's a stupid thing to do or not. I'm going to do Soulless now. We've got to get through these purple ones as well. So Soulless. For every 2 crits you do, the team does spell power damage to the enemy with the most max HP equal to 165% of the team's spell power, and it's further increased by your surge level. So this is complicated. This one is hard to get going. So I think that's going to tell you where it's going to go, but its upside is crazy. As you've probably seen on my stream, I have absolutely loved Soulless. You're in a build, and again, he's just so good, but Savos, man. Savos increases the crit of your team because of his passive. Then he can increase the spell power of your team because of his active. Soulless and Savos go together just like Vegemite and toast. But also it benefits from Surge. So the damage on Soulless can be really good if you do have the spell power and crit, but you still need Surge. Like, the damage is good, but it's not great. But once you get the Surge, it can just blow the game away. Soulless is hard to get online. Its upside's really good, but you need crit, spell power, and Surge. We're talking about one of the more complicated things to put together. Definitely not advised for beginner players. If I'm ranking Soulless, it's in A. Like, it's so fun. It's because I know when to use it, and I don't use it very often. But when you're given the opportunity to use it, boom, it blows the enemies out of the water, pretty much like Zenith. So when Zenith works, it friggin' works, but you shouldn't be going for it. So I'm going to be putting it in D, and that hurts. I even compared it to Vegemite, and yum. All right, let's do Starving Beasts. All summons gain the bonus critical strike chance and 300% of the bonus critical strike damage of all heroes, and gain 300 bleed effectiveness. This is an interesting one. So there's limited immediate payoff, because unless you have crit and crit strike chance and crit damage and bleeds, there's no benefit of Starving Beasts. But in summon builds, you're gonna have those things. They go so well, and it's the theme of today, guys, is apparently Savos. Let's just go to the bloke so I can stop yapping about him and you can see exactly what I mean. Savos. His passive increases the team's crit chance based on number of summons. This is bonus crit chance. So this goes crazy with Starving Beasts. Next is his active, which gives out attack damage. Attack damage in combination with crit damage is really strong. Savos goes really well with this one. But let's just look at the other crit characters. All right. Cephas. Oh, he's a crit character. He likes to hit hard because it gives him water elementals. He works well with crit. Oh, Dagon. Base 20 crit chance. That's not bonus. But what it does imply is adding more helps him out and gets him closer to that 100. He does more damage with his summon crystals. Layla. More attack damage is more healing from her passive. So, crit chance goes pretty well on her. Joanna, okay, not so much. Okar, on the other hand, when he crits, he heals the team, and his wolves get attack damage from him when he casts. He's a crit character. Ripley, attack damage, benefits from crit because he has the attack damage, and he even gives himself crit strike chance if he's using Sky Edge as his active. So crit goes really, really well with summon. So this one is actually much easier to get online than you'd think. The key here as well is the 300% bonus crit strike damage. So put a few of those crit spears on your heroes, or even, do you know what? Just chuck, boom, Devourer, 400% crit strike damage. Your minions are going to be destroying the enemy. You put Mythic Dagger to give team-wide bondage crit giants damage. Oh my goodness, your summons are having a field day. Combo that with Titan Slayer so they get more attack damage and attack speed to scale with that crit chance. Happy, happy, happy. Double-edged axe, more crit chance, 460% times 3. Times 3, that's like 1380%. That's 11 attacks. Like, that's crazy. This Origin is really, really strong. I love Starving Beasts. It works well in most summon builds. Yes, there are some caster summon builds, which, you know, if you've got Joanna, I don't know, like, whatever. Like, Joanna, Layla, Dagon, you don't have Savos, you don't have Okar, you're probably not looking to choose Starving Beast in that build. Then if you compound the bleed, so this is one Origin, you don't need to worry about the bleed. The first part of the Origin is strong enough. The bleed is just like icing on the cake. If you're doing those 13 times hits with critical strike damage, and all you need is one single, I tell you what, grab one single bleed orb and you're laughing. Grab Garnet and you're laughing even harder. Combo that with heroes that actually generate bleed. You know, you got Cairo putting out his 2 bleeds every 4 seconds. You've got Nulua casting, applying 4 bleeds, or you got Alec who's just bursting them down with bleeds with shot with heaps of max mana. Yeah, life is good. This is a strong Origin. It's not too hard to get going, although it is a little. You do need the items, you do need the summons. This is one I'd recommend, just like I said for Dragon Rider. You don't click it preemptively. You click it when you've got most of the pieces there, but when you do, you're really happy to see it. You want that in your summon build. This is strong A for me. Really up there. In the right build, this is better than these two every day of the week. I'd rather Starving Beast than this, although it's just harder to get online. And for that reason, I'm probably going to put it a bit lower in here. I'll put it in the same realm as these ones here. I'll put it below these because these two just, like, if you're a summon build, you click them and they work. This one, not necessarily. But yeah, it's going in B, guys. Now let's do one of like the simple ones, which you probably, you know, like let's do Dreamcatcher. Dreamcatcher, for every 100 health healed, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, I'm looking at it on the screen. For every 100 health healed, all heroes gain 2% shield received, caps at 200 shield received, which is quite a lot. And then every 4 seconds, all heroes get 50 shield. This is easy to get going because everyone heals, a bit of lifesteal, a bit of magic steal, Legionnaire's helmet. You know, some passives like Nalua's passive, boom, just gets this online. So many items make this work. It's ridiculous. To turn this on, it's easy. And the best part is it's inherent. So the shield received is the payoff for the shield received is the actual Origin itself, which is not very common. Like, for example, the payoff for crit here is mana, but it doesn't give you crit. This one gives you the shield received and gives you the shield as well. This is lovely. So it caps at 200% shield received. So it's not going to give you 50 shield every 4 seconds. It's going to give you 150 shield every 4 seconds, which is pretty good. You click it and it does something. You don't need shield received for it to be helpful in the early game. And there's a lot of cool shield synergies that go with it. So it unlocks shield synergies. It helps with, if you're a healing synergy, it like there's another payoff now. You're getting the shield received. It requires very little thought. The payoffs are really good. Let's get some payoffs here. The one that jumps to my mind is Fossil Ring. So Fossil Ring just increases attack damage, percent attack damage and attack speed for the shield the hero has. So if they're getting shield but from your Origin, boom, your guy is just faster and hitting harder. So that's really good. If they have either Vanquish's Helmet or Sierra, they're either distributing or gaining a lot of extra shield from your other heroes that are getting shield from the Origin. Really, really strong. And there's just lots of other combinations of things in heroes, like, you know, for example, that Origin goes really well with Zog, because Zog gives mana to anyone that has shield on your team. That Origin goes really well with one of my least favorite characters in this game, Jalen, who gives attack damage to the team based on the shield that they have. So if you had Zog and Jalen with Dreamcatcher, you're laughing. Dreamcatcher goes with any build. You click it and it does something, has some scaling upside, and it unlocks shield synergies. There's not a single negative thing about it. It is strong. Yes, when you started the game, you probably realized how strong, like how easy it was to implement. It's S. There's no questions about it. It's S tier. You should be picking this up. It's going to carry you. It's going to cover your defenses. In Flame Master, it's probably going to cover your defenses completely. You can focus fully on offensive scaling with a bit of lifesteal, magic steal. Really good Origin. Happy chappy. Now let's do Brawler, because I like Brawler. Brawler is a lot of fun. The Brawler, the first one in the chart, always gain % attack damage based on the team's defense, not bonus defense, and it's the team's defense. Let's say your heroes have an average of like 40 defense. There's 5 heroes, that's 200 defense. This comes in, is 10% at, which is 20. So the whole team gets 20% attack damage by clicking this here. That is the equivalent immediately of the Troll Mace. That's strong. But if you start scaling the team's defense, you're having a good time. And there are lots of ways to do that. Let's start with heroes. There's 2 that come to mind immediately, and then there's lots of items that come to mind. Reborn Magmus increases, where is it? Reborn Magmus increases defense based on the burns on the enemy. This can be a lot of defense. This can be hundreds of defense, which is a lot of attack damage scaling. Crazy, really good. But the obvious candidate here for defense is, if I'm not blind, Teros. Teros puts out an aura that gives defense. You solely scale Teros to give out as much defense as possible. The rest of your team are getting defensive, by the way, and also attack damage. You scale that with a bit of lifesteal, so if they got a lot of attack damage, a lot of defense, and a lot of lifesteal, they're never dying. They're going to heal themselves up before the enemies can even hit them because they've got so much defense. Then they get the lifesteal and bingo, bongo, bango. Life is great. A few items go well as well, just anything that says the word defense, pretty much. Dark Guard Armor gives defense every 2 seconds. Golden Shield gives defense based on all other heroes. Crazy with this build. Magic Shield gives defense based on the shield that the hero has. Crazy. Winter Shield just starts the fight with 500 defense. Crazy. Oh no, there's 2 more. Gladiator Shield gives defense at the start of fight and after 10 seconds. Crazy. Even things like Mending Band, 30 defense, don't mind if I do. There's defense payoffs in this build as well, like Smoldering Armor that I've mentioned before. Every single attack is a 20% chance to get 50 defense. Awesome. 60 defense from Defense Ring. Boom. Loving life. And where's that helmet? Oh, there it is. And then, like the strongest of all items, if you can get it working, this is the harder one to get working, is Vengeful Helmet. It just scales your defense every single win. At the end of the game, it could be like 300 defense. 300 defense is 30% attack damage. That's crazy. That item alone could be 30% attack damage to your entire team. Brawler is really good. Brawler is one of those ones that you need to have attack damage and defense to make work. But the payoff is so crazy synergistic with it, especially if you've got lifesteal. It is just really strong. Would highly recommend you pick it up, and that's going to the tippy top of the A. The synergy there is too strong, and it's close, guys. It's so close, but it just isn't there yet. Oh, it's so close. It's A. Let's just stick it to A for now. War Arsenal. Let's go. On the topic of crit. Where are you, War Arsenal? War Arsenal. After 5 seconds, the hero with the most crit strike chance gets 100% crit strike damage. Really good, because typically your hero with the most crit strike chance is probably going to be near cap anyway in a crit build. So obviously you're clicking this when you're in a crit build. All heroes gain 50% crit chance of the hero that has the highest crit chance, which is good, because if they're close to 100%, the rest of your team are getting 50% crit chance. This is really good if it wasn't 5 seconds. So you have 5 seconds of a battle where you hope your highest crit strike character doesn't get taken out. You are waiting for it to happen, and in crit builds, they're a little flimsier than other builds in terms of survivability. So you might, it's a bit of a wait to ask for to get that benefit, but the benefit is really large. I've picked War Arsenal up occasionally. It's pretty good, and the builds it's done really well in are strong builds to begin with. So for me, it's been a bit of a win more. However, it's easy to get going. It's definitely going to do something if you can survive 5 seconds. Yeah, I guess like that's it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Like, I'd rather Warmonger, because at least then your cap crit chance increases to crit strike damage. So this is a higher ceiling. This is just good. Like, it just does its thing, and you're happy. It's consistent. Its payoff is pretty good. Yeah. So War Arsenal, I'm probably gonna put it at like, I think because of how easy it is to implement, it's gonna go in the B tier. Ask yourself, do I have a crit team? Do I have a good character? One single crit character, because that's all you need. Do I have one single crit character to get this going? And then hope you can survive for 5 seconds. Let's do old scary skeleton here. So what Corrupted does is all heroes get 2% attack damage per max mana on the hero with the most max mana. Really straightforward, right? As I've mentioned before, it's really, really easy to scale max mana. You can scale it to the moon really easily with a lot of different items. Like straight away, if you have a base 15% max mana hero, you put Soul Blade on, boom, they're like 21 or whatever it is. 21 by 2 is 42. There's 42% attack damage. In an attack damage build, crazy damage. Crazy damage. I really like Corrupted. It is instant as well. So as long as your max mana is instant at the start of the fight, which is many easy ways to do that, you're getting the instant attack damage. Corrupted is really strong. Like I said, in my builds, I typically like one hero of max mana. It's because of Corrupted, it's because of Mastermind. Let's say I've got that hero, right? I'm in a spell power team, I see Corrupted. I don't choose Corrupted, I choose Mastermind. And vice versa, if I'm in an attack damage max mana build, I choose Corrupted. Boom, I'm happy. And Corrupted is one, I wouldn't normally recommend it. It is one I would choose without actually having max mana if it's early on, like if it's Act 1, because it's not hard to get max mana. There's just too many items that do it. And that synergize with this. My favorite one being Mana Forged Wand, because it just increases your max mana after 10 seconds, as well as doing the casts as well. Or it's Wonderbots. And they're very strong items. Their payoff is insane. Make sure you're in an attack damage team before you click Corrupted. Now, as for heroes that it works well with, I really like Corrupted with either Shrop or Alec, because they both cast independent of mana regen, so it doesn't really matter what their max mana is, so you can scale their already high max mana even higher. So these two heroes are excellent, and typically they're in bleed crit builds, and bleed crit builds on attack damage. So if you've got either of these two heroes, slam dunk Corrupted, and then just try to fixate on getting this max mana higher. Other heroes that it goes really well with, Ralph. Ralph doesn't care about max mana. Ralph does care about physical attack damage. Really well with Ralph. Emily goes really well with Emily, because I like Emily as a max mana character, because I essentially don't give a hoot about her cast. I only care about her passive. So it goes well with her. She might not care about the attack damage, but the rest of your team can. Pumpkin. Pumpkin doesn't care about casting. His cast is actually a negative, and in fact his cast increases his max mana. So his cast actually helps Corrupted. Mr. Pumpkin's perfect for that. Alec, I sometimes like to play as a max mana character, but probably not the hero I would be choosing for Corrupted. So yeah, there are a few options. That's the origin. Really strong, easy to make work. Does need a bit to get going. I'm not going to put it in S, but it certainly is A tier. It's up there with Brawler. Like these three, I love these. It looks like that the skeleton dude's holding the axe and has one fist up. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get ya. Okay, next. Next up, Specialist. I think it's Specialist, right? Specialist, yeah. So every crit you do, you get 5% ethereal amplification. I don't want to repeat myself. It's very similar to Arcane Weaver. Payoff in both of these is really good. Mana regen is really good in a caster build. Specialist is really good in a ethereal build, but you have to crit. And let's say you crit once a second with 5 heroes, which is ridiculous, by the way, if everyone's constantly critting, let's say half a second, because let's say they crit every other hit. You wait 10 seconds, they hit every 1 second, that's 5 crits per hero, that's 25. By 5, that's like 100%. So after 10 seconds, with a 50% crit chance across your entire team, that's 100% ethereal amplification. That isn't that much. That's a lot of crits though. That's really hard to get that crit chance. It's difficult to get online. But the thing is, Specialist doesn't have a cap. This can be a million. That's literally impossible because of the time limit of the games and the scaling of the enemies. But this could be really high. A bit slow. Its payoff is good if you can make it work in the right build. Specialist is one I absolutely would never pick unless I already have high crit and ethereal. If I have high crit without ethereal, I still wouldn't pick it. You really need both pieces already there to make it work. These are very similar in terms of how I kind of rank them and consider them. And so for that reason, I'm putting them side by side, right next to each other. I'd probably rather Arcane Weaver because mana is easier to make work than ethereal, even if ethereal is a stronger payoff. Cool, and let's do the Anger Abyssal just for a bit of comparison context. So Abyssal, if every shielding done, all heroes get 1.5% ethereal amplification, which caps at 450. Now that's interesting. Like immediately comparing to Specialist, you ask yourself, well, why does that have a cap? Because it's much easier to gain that ethereal amplification from shielding. If you've got everyone's favorite witch with a hat, Naomi, she dishes out shielding when she casts, which is really good. If you combo that with Sierra on the hero that's getting the shield, and you increase their shield received by chucking something like Shielding Cloak on them, you're distributing so much shield to the entire team, which is going to make this origin pop off really quickly. Another one that I love, simply, is Flute. Flick is 450 shield to your entire team. That's 450 by 5. 5 into 8, that's 9 procs of this per hero. It's roughly around 70 ethereal amplification immediately when the fight starts. Flute plus Abyssal is like 70%. You know what? I'm not even going to check my maths on that. Don't flame me in the comments. That is almost as powerful as the example I gave of Specialist, except that that's really hard to get online. This is instant with no effort. Abyssal's really good. I love Abyssal. If I had ethereal amplification and one single shield thing, like if I had a shield amplification or if I have a shield caster, a shield relic, just something, then I would slam Abyssal so quick. Abyssal's really good. I like it a lot. For me, it's stronger than these ones, but it is harder to get going. I'm probably going to chuck it at the bottom of the A. And the reason it is A and not B is because ethereal damage is one of the strongest kind of archetypes in the game. Ethereal amplification is just a bit of a cheat. It's just like, hey, do 400% more damage. Notice how when I was talking about Brawler, I was talking like 50, 60%. Notice how this is 450% cap. So for some reason, and whatever reason that is, they decide ethereal damage gets a special treatment and gets harder scaling. As in higher scaling. And then let's do the other ethereal amplification one. I forget this one, what it's called. Sorry, I don't forget what it does. Spectral. Or heroes get ethereal amplification based on the team's spell power. Really similar to this. Really easy to get going. Team spell power. It didn't say bonus, did it? Yeah, it's just team spell power. So that comes down and does something immediately. Scaling spell power is easy. As I mentioned with this bloke up here, it's good. Caster builds are, in my opinion, worse with ethereal because of the items that are available. So a few items that go well. So Giant Lollipop's a hybrid, which is good. There's a really good ethereal payoff for attack damage, which is Telekinetic Glove. There's a good caster payoff, which is Spell Dancer. I really love this because it's -2 max mana as well. Hidden Blades is a crazy item and it's attack damage related. It's just absolutely bonkers if you can get this online. It's really strong. And then there's Serrated Fist, which works off physical damage, which works really well on something like Aurora. I really like this. I think it's easy to get online. All you need is one hero with a lot of spell power to get it going. I'm going to put this up here as well, I reckon. I might have to reevaluate where I'm putting these because A and B are quite stacked. I might need to do some demotions. Dimensioneer is the last one I forgot to put in TBC. Dimensioneer does. All heroes get crit chance and omnicrit, but their max mana is increased by 50%. Dimensioneer, I've not used it. I'm telling you, I can tell it's good. Crit chance in combination omnicrit is crazy. All right, let's do this burn one. So it's Pyromaniac. So every 1.5 seconds, deal spell damage to the enemy with the most burns equal to the amount of burns of that enemy times 300% of the team's mana regen. This is similar to that Wyvern one, except I've not used Wyvern. I use this one more regularly. You want a lot of burns and you want mana regen because they're multiplicative damage. So I would never be choosing this unless I've already got the burns. If I do, it's pretty good damage. In your burn builds, you typically want mana because you can have pyro. Pretty much every burn character goes well with mana regen. Even the tank, Atrios, or whatever his name is. What is his name? Yeah, even Atrios, because he casts more frequently, which is more defense. So mana works well on Atrios, mana works well on Agar to cast, mana works well on Blake, mana works really well on Magnus, crazy good on Pyro, and it works okay on Ola. But she already has a lot of mana because of Mana Dragon. Pyromaniac actually synergizes with any burn build. If you're a burn build, you can click Pyromaniac and be pretty happy. I think these are 50-50 between which one's more useful when. Yes, you do need mana regen and burn to make this work, but you should be in a burn build. And if you're in a burn build, you probably have mana, so it's going to work in that build. Same with Dragon Rider. If you're in a burn build, you're doing burns, so you're going to get the payoff. These are pretty equivalent to me. And in fact, I don't know which one's better. So I think by that logic, I have to put it in B. Okay, let's do... So Conqueror, for every crit dealt by all heroes get shield received. This one's really interesting because it's purely defensive. Crit shield builds are niche. They don't come up too regularly. I haven't clicked this too many times. Two characters that friggin' love Conqueror are Marco, because he generates shield with his cast, and he has a high base crit chance because of his passive, and Karina, who gets more crit chance based on shield and has omni crit. So if you had like Karina, Marco, this could be quite, where is it? Yeah, Conqueror could be quite good, but you still probably want a little more shield generation than that. So that's the funny thing. It produces shield received, but not the actual shield itself. So you still need somewhere producing shield. So this is a complex one to get going. You need the crit, you need the right team, you need the shield generation, and even then it's slow scaling because you need to crit multiple times. The fun part about this one is that it has no cap. it can scale forever and ever to have 1,000,000 shield received. But even then, your shield does cap out at your max HP. So unless you have high max HP, you're not getting that much shield to begin with. Like, it does work well with those items that I've mentioned before. You know, the standard, which are the Vanquisher's Helmet, Hound Shield, Sierra, and Fossil Ring. But it does need the crit. It's slow scaling. You need the right heroes. It's probably going to go in D. I'm going to put it at the tippy top of the D because it does feel kind of good when you've got like 1,000% shield received in your build. You feel quite tanky and robust. Oh, let's do this one. Core Keeper. For every 100 shield and heal you do, the team gets 10 energy. Energy will surge you faster, so this essentially surges you with heal and shield, which is really easy to accommodate. I've mentioned it a few times, but shielding and healing yourself is very, very simple to do with Lifesteal, Magic Steal, some of the heroes, lots of items. There's just many ways to do it. It's a bit hard to discuss them all here. But every 6 seconds, you inflict debuffs to the enemies based on your surge level. So if you're surge level 12, which is the maximum, which you should get to quickly because Core Keeper gets you there quickly, you should be, every 6 seconds, you should be inflicting 12 debuffs on the enemies. If you've got at least 2 debuffs on the enemies, which you should, most builds will do a bleed, a shock, a frost, or a burn. They will just do it because one of your characters just produces it. Core Keeper can be really good. That's a lot of debuffs over time. If you have 4 debuffs on the enemies, all 4, and you're healing and shielding a lot, that is so many debuffs, and there's just infinite items that work with debuffs. I like Core Keeper because it's actually kind of like 2 medium origins in one. The first part says you surge quickly. That's the first origin. The next part says you apply a lot of debuffs. You don't need to worry that the debuffs is based on surge level because you should be surging because of the first part of Core Keeper. So it's 2 mini origins. Both of them are just generally good. You generally want debuffs pretty much no matter what build you are. You typically are healing and shielding no matter what build you are. And the fact is, this isn't even considering the payoff from surge outside of the debuffs. The payoff from surge is just astronomical. Void Star is one of the stronger ones. Gloomy Mace, love Gloomy Mace. Hybrid stats, yes thanks. Like, are you serious? You've got Great Sword of the Surge, which increases your crit chance and damage based on surge level. You've got these 2 items here, which give you attack damage, spell power, and surge. You're going to be surging really quickly with this origin. Core Keeper is really, really good. It's very beginner friendly because it's 2 origins in one, both of which are pretty good in isolation. Like, honestly, the first part alone could be a reason to pick it. It's going in A. It's close to being in S just because of how, like, honestly, it's on the tippy top of my tongue to put it into S just because of the beginner-friendly nature of it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to slam it there for now. Let's do this one. I forget the name. It's like Light Guard. Yes, for every stun, the highest HP hero gets 100% HP and gets healed for that amount, so it's good healing. In addition, that when you start the fight, you get 12 shock. Now this is the stun payoff. I had a little whinge about Stormforce. Light Guard is much better, and it's for the same reasons that Elixir Mana is good. Max HP is sick. Max HP is really good. This works well on the same heroes that I mentioned before, especially Azura. It works well with the same items as I said before, like the Eye of the Malicious Eye Ring. It's just it's pretty good origin. You do need to be a stun build. It does give you shocks, which help you with that. It gives max HP to the highest HP unit. I would say that stun builds are a little hard to get online when you don't know when you're starting out in the game. So you probably just want to focus on damage if you're looking to win Flame Master. But once you get a groove of things, stuns can be quite good. I like it a lot. It's definitely going in B for me. I think the upside, it's a little harder to get going than these here, but the upside is pretty strong. It's probably equivalent. I think I'd probably chuck it below these 2 here. I really like Light Guard. All right, Spellweaver. Spellweaver. One of the more simple origins to understand. All heroes get percent spell power equal to 18% of the attack damage of the hero with the highest attack damage. If you have a hero with 100 attack damage, your team is getting 18% spell power across the board. This is cool. There are so many hybrid characters in the game. Let's just go through and I'll just quickly spit out who's hybrid. Kinda. No. Yes. No. Starting in the red is not a good idea because most of them are attack damage. No. Really good hybrid. Really good hybrid. Decent hybrid. Decent hybrid. No. Decent. Kinda. Great. No. no, no. I'm keeping this in, even if it makes me look wrong. No, 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 kinda, no, yes, 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 no, 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 yeah, yes, yeah, no, no, yes, very much so, yes, yes, yes. And I just realized that's why I like burn builds, because they're so hybrid. I love hybrid characters. No, no, slam dunk, diggity dunk. This is one of the better hybrid characters. No, 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 yes, no, kinda, 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 yes, no, slam dunk, no, 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 yes, no, 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 kinda, yeah. Oh, okay, there's the poster child of hybrid. Mr. Hybrid damage on hybrid scaling. There we go. No, no, no. Okay, so it's like, I would say 1/3 of all the characters in the game are hybrid. So the payoff here is very easy to accommodate. Scaling attack damage is really kind of easy to do, like I mentioned here. Also, like I mentioned here, essentially you could compare Spell Weaver to Hellion in the fact that it gets your attack damage from your hero's highest attack damage unit. Except the payoff is better, because increasing your team's spell power can be really strong. Spell Weaver is really strong, just facts. I really like it. If you focus on attack damage on one character and spell power for the rest of your team, this scales percent spell power, so you want high base spell power for your team. Spell Weaver is really strong. It's very easy to accommodate. Not much more to say. It's going in A. It's stronger than all these. I'd put it right there. In fact, I think this is the order I want to do. We're really boiling things down here. Let's do Shapeshifter. And if you're new to the channel, congratulations, you don't know where I'm going to put this. If you've watched some of my content before, you know what's going to happen right now. Shapeshifter. When the fight starts, the hero with the highest max HP gains 50% max HP. Cool. So your tank gets tankier. Love to hear it. And as I've mentioned before, there's lots of cool max HP synergies. All heroes get lifesteal and magic steal. All heroes, including the tank, by the way, equal to 1% of the tank's max HP, or the hero with the most HP is HP. If your hero with the most max HP has 3,000 life, which is not difficult to reach a few items, your team are getting 30% lifesteal, magic steal. That's a lot. That's so much sustainability. In fact, that's all the sustainability you need for the rest of the game to win. It's enough for I+, to win reliably. Shapeshifter is sick. Shapeshifter is so good. And I said tank, and that was wrong. Do you know why? Because with Shapeshifter, you don't need a tank. You just need a hero with a lot of life. Everyone takes aggro. You split aggro 5 ways because everyone's healing themselves back. If everyone's doing a lot of damage, they are the tank. Shapeshifter warps the entire game to make it so it's a free-for-all. Everyone just goes and takes a unit and damages them. They're healing themselves through magic steal, life steal, which is cool for ethereal damage because it's magic steal. And it also gives more max HP to the hero with the most max HP, which is it helps itself out. Shapeshifter is bonkers. I never clicked Shapeshifter until I+. I clicked Shapeshifter and I+, and then swore I would never skip it again. It is, of the origins we've chosen so far, it is my favorite. I love it. I love it because I hated it, and then I clicked it, and then I'm like, oh, I was so wrong about Shapeshifter. It's sick. And one thing I would mention is Shapeshifter, it's Legionnaires' Helmet. Legionnaires' Helmet is Shapeshifter. So it gives your hero 5% and 5% lifesteal magic steal, but then the rest of the team get that when they get below 50% life, health. So Legionnaires' Helmet is incredibly, incredibly strong. You can do the same thing as you can with Shapeshifter with Legionnaires' Helmet, as in like just have no tank, 5 heroes that do a lot of damage, etc. Except it's not quite enough lifesteal magic steal. So I would recommend if you're doing that, you just make sure you have a bit of added layer of defense to your team. Maybe that's in the form of the flute, or leather strips, or leaf mask, just a little bit more robustness to keep them going. But if you do that with Legionnaires' Helmet, then the whole team can be DPS and you can forget about a tank. I love Shapeshifter. It is easy S tier, easy as S tier. In fact, it is tippity top of the S tier for me. I have a good time with it, and I'd highly recommend it, because the best part about Shapeshifter, you click it, and all you need to do from that moment onwards is focus on damage. You can pick up all the damage items you want. Forget about life, forget about defense. You just go on there and have a good time. You split aggro 5 ways. That's another crazy thing about it. You can split aggro 5 ways. So you're not only are you getting more lifesteal, magic steal, but you're dividing the damage done to a single unit by 5, because one tank isn't taking 5 aggro or whatever in those multi-fights. Shapeshifter is bonkers. On the topic of healing, let's do Mushroom. That's why I call it Dream Seeker. So for every, this is a little tricky one. So for every 100 shielding done, all heroes get heal received up to 140%. So that's pretty good. Shielding's not hard to do. You know, you got Ryu who shields himself, Naomi. You've got Jalen, my least favorite hero. Additionally, 100% of overhealing does spell damage to the enemy with the lowest percent HP. So Dream Seeker is a little complex. You definitely want the shielding to heal because it's only going to do damage if you overheal. So it's cool because you do get a payoff from overhealing. So let's say you're Dream Seeker and you had Legionnaire's helmet in combination with maybe like Shell Ring to give your team that shield it needs. You're having a good time because you're healing up quite a lot through Lifesteal, Magic Steal, but then anything that over, which is typically not your tank, so whoever's in the back line who's not getting damaged is doing the damage to the enemies. The issue is when you have team-wide damage, this drops off quite quickly. So for example, when the Enrage mechanic takes into effect in Act 4, you know, when the lava's like, ooh, everyone's getting damaged and they're not overhealing. They're just healing to stay alive. Dream Seeker then has no effect. Other than the fact, that's not necessarily true. You still have the heal received, so you're still more survivable. I like Dream Seeker. I've had some really fun games with it. When you get the right items and synergies, you just go, oh, this is a Dream Seeker run. Like if you've got Rose, if you've got Cora, and then you've got like some nice juicy tanks, some nice items. Maybe you've got some items like Leeching Ring, Crown of Life, Leader's Waistguard, or Scarlet, all of which heal a lot. Or maybe you've got Emerald Staff that gives you heaps of healing through those orbs. Life is pretty good. You know, you're gonna do a bit of damage. I've carried runs with Dream Seeker in I+. It's really fun. It's just you shouldn't be choosing it and then making it work. You should already have the pieces together before you choose it. And even then, it's not necessarily that strong because you do need to be investing in the healing. I think because of that though, your healing, which keeps your team alive, it's not quite down here with the D. It's probably bottom of the C because it's just a little complex to get going. But the benefit is you get healing received, which is survivability. So there you go, mate. You are in the C team. Nope, C. What the hell do I last 5, guys? What am I going to leave to last? Let's do the eye that keeps looking at me, the judgmental eye here. I forget what you are called, but you are quite good. So Fosia, that's right. So when a hero goes below 0.55% attack damage, they either get 120% spell power if they have more spell power, or 120% attack damage if they have more attack damage. Fosia is one I never picked up until recently. It's only a very recent addition to my arsenal because I'm like, why would I ever want to reduce someone's attack speed that low? Well, there are a few heroes that have an inherently low attack speed and it's not hard to get them to 0.55. A few that come into mind. So Ralph starts with 0.5 attack speed. You put a copper axe on Ralph with Fosia, he will carry the entire of Act 1 full stop. That's it, done. You put a few negative attack speed items on Kisara, Green Jade Dagger, Caster's Amulet, and the Curled Staff that increases spell power. Boom, her spell power is even higher and she's stunning. She'll carry you through Act 1 alone. Like 2 really good characters for it. And another really good one that comes to mind is Teros. He has 0.45, so it immediately triggers on Teros. And he's got 70% crit chance. So he is going to be destroying the enemies with a bit of attack damage. Really, really strong. The C is good. The C is actually really good. You either can pick a hero that it immediately triggers, or you can make it work through putting items on heroes. I would typically not choose this unless I have the heroes available, but you can kind of preemptively do it because it is that strong. I'd put it in A, simply. Boom, right in the middle of A. Yeah, we're guys, we're doing some shuffling and cuts gonna happen, so don't get married to this list just yet. All I can say definitively is S tier is S tier, TBC is TBC tier, and D is probably D. I'm probably not gonna demote too much into D. Let's do this guy. This guy right here. Never remember the name. Love it as an origin. I keep saying I love it, but I love this game. Marauder. All heroes get 4% crit chance per surge level. Additionally, if the surge level is higher than 12 or equal to it, all heroes get Omni crit. Okay, so one of the strongest mechanics in the game. I've said that about Ethereal. I said attack damage is better than spell power. I'm saying about a lot of things, but one of the most strongest mechanics in the game, I swear I'm being real, guys, is Omni crit. Omni crit allows your spell casts to crit, which is really strong. More importantly, it allows some items to crit. Like I said before, the Surge Dagger. There are a few others, I just can't remember them off the top of my head. This is cool because it increases your crit chance to help you with the Omni crit, so it's kind of like a self-synergizing. And if you get to surge level 12, that's 48 crit chance with their base, which is probably like 10. So they're at 58 alone with Marauder if you can surge quickly. The key here is you have to surge quickly. If you don't surge quickly, it does nothing. It actually does nothing. There are a few items I've mentioned before which help with, so all these items here help surge. They all have their place. The worst one is probably these two here. I never choose them. Bone Trident, also really bad, except for the fact it gives you -2 max mana. So I'd focus on Turquoise Ring, the Sword, and Sun Amulet. These 3 items will make it so you surge really quickly, especially Turquoise Ring. Turquoise Ring on Emily, Turquoise Ring on Allura, and you're just, boom, you've surged 12 pretty much instantly. The Sword goes well on any attack type like Shrop, Nox, Pyro, Sun Amulet obviously on healers, so such as Rose, Naomi, or Cora, and you can surge quite quickly. Boom, they get crit and omni crit, and now they're doing even more damage than before. So the power for this is extremely high, and there is a way to make it even more busted. You can increase your surge level through certain items in the game. So you put the hat on, it gives you another 5. Boom, you're happy. You choose most busted item, Artifact of Surge, 10 extra surge levels. Essentially, everyone has a 100% crit chance with Omni Crit. Crazy good. Would recommend, get on it. This is a really good origin. I think it relies though on fast surging, and fast surging relies on having a good team or a good character who can surge quickly. I wouldn't be picking this up above these A's as a beginner. For me, this is S tier because of Omni Crit and Crit Chance and all the ways to increase your surge level. But it does need to bit to get going. You need a character that can surge quickly, and then the payoff is pretty evident. I think its upside is better than every single thing in this row, but it's just harder to get going. I just can't not put it in A. I have to put this in A. It's so strong. We're down to our last 3. And they're so strong, guys. I'm nothing here, by the way, is below A. Malevolence. Let's do the other purple. So Malevolence, every 3 seconds, all heroes deal ethereal damage based on attack damage, which scales as surge. Additionally, when the fight starts, all heroes get Omni Crit, but lose 35% attack damage. Attack speed, sorry. This is a good one. You have 5 spellcaster characters, you don't choose Malevolence. It's that simple. You have 3 attack damage characters, you slam Malevolence. You pick it early, so then what you can do is focus on attack damage. Don't worry about attack speed. Never let them attack again. Just attack damage only. And Magic Steal. Magic Steal, because ethereal damage is a Magic Steal thing. Then you also want to focus on Surge. Given that all characters are doing ethereal damage with this, Turquoise Ring goes really well. It's also 80% more damage with it as well, so that's really cool. Malevolence is really simple. You click it when you have an attack damage team and you're happy. All you then need to worry about is doing more attack damage and finding a way to surge. If you have an attack damage team and you have something like Troll Mace, Harpoon, Strange Bug, Shuriken, Flail, like there's so many items to go well with this. Oh, yeah. And if you've got Shamanic Mixture for the ethereal amplification, or Shackles, particularly these 2 items, you're going to win the run. Because these scale off negative attack speed, and your whole team just got negative 35% attack speed. So these will cap instantly. This gives your team 90 damage. That 90 damage goes directly with the origin to do the ethereal damage. Or this will give you ethereal amplification, which will just directly amplify the amount of damage it's doing to begin with spell power. It's a really strong origin. It doesn't work with every team. It's not completely flexible. And if you don't get the surge generation, it can flop and just fail. Like I+, as I found it. It's not perfect. You do need to think about it and get it going, but it's just really, really strong. It's, where did I put it? Where are you? I can't see it. Yeah, it's tippity top of the A. It's super good. Just don't choose it unless your team suits it. If it does, you click it and you're laughing. All right, down to the last 2. It doesn't matter what order I do them. You go. Tree. So Tree, what do you do again? So all heroes get heal received for the mana regen, capping at 100% healing received. Very similar to you, except for healing instead of shielding. And then all overheals increase shield. I think Realm Creator is a slightly worse Dreamcatcher because mana regen is less common than healing and shielding. So I like in some builds you don't want mana regen at all. It's like not useful even slightest, but shielding and healing will always be useful. Having said that though, this shield's a lot faster because when you overheal, you can cap your shield instantly. This can instantly get everyone at full shield, and then you're laughing because you've also got 100% extra healing received. Realm Creator is really good. It works in every single build except for the niche few builds, like, let's say max mana builds or whatever, then just don't click it. It's a pretty easy one to navigate. It will help you win. You could focus on attack damage. You could focus on those shield synergies or healing synergies. It's A. Sorry, it's S. It's S. Slam Donkey S. Then we got Dragonsmith. All heroes get crit damage equal to 80% spell power of the hero with the highest spell power. This one is the most contentious one. I am struggling with this one. That's why I've left it to last. So I've mentioned before that spell power builds aren't typically good with crit, or at least in my experience, I prefer them to be attack damage. But this only requires one hero to have spell power. The rest can be crit damage teams. And even then, there are still good payouts if you've got Omni Crit and spell power teams such as Zoe, such as Luco, and such as Retrobation. They're 3 good examples of where this is good with a caster. This is the hard one for me, guys, because it's kind of hard to make work because you need a lot of spell power to capitalize on the extra crit damage. You also need the crit chance to get the payoff from it. So it's not the easiest one to put together, but, and this is a big but, it is, in my opinion, the strongest origin in the entire game. The upside is crazy. Once you get that 1,000 crit damage to your entire team, nothing can stop you. You are doing so much damage. The enemy, you blink and the enemies are gone. This has the highest upside of all these origins because crit damage is crazy. It's multiplicative damage to your base damage, which you can get high through many other means. This one here, it's very difficult for me not to slam this in S. I wouldn't put it at the top of the S, especially when we're considering this is meant to help newer players. I don't think I can put it below S, even if it is hard to get going. Okay, this is what I'll do, guys. Don't choose Dragonborn without the right setup. You need team-wide crit chance, and you need a hero with a lot of spell power. If you have those things, you slam dunk this origin and you are so happy because you're about to get so much crit damage. It's not unreasonable to get 1000% spell power. That's pretty easy to accommodate with a whole bunch of different items. 1000% spell power is 800% crit damage. 800% crit damage is 8 times more damage than your base. So you're doing, every time you hit, you're doing 900% damage. 900% damage. One hero having high spell power. Not 5 heroes, just one. Dragonsmith is crazy. Dragonsmith's, like, in the right build, it's unstoppable. It's the strongest origin in the game in isolation. Under the right circumstances, it is absolutely S tier. Oh, guys, I've been recording for days. And this is so much thinking. Like, I don't have a script here, I'm just talking at you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and subscribe. But we're not done yet. We still have to reorganize. I'm going to do a little sanity check. I'm going to pause the video. All right, guys, I've done some thinking. These are the changes I'm going to make. Portal Master, it has a cool mana payoff, but it has not much immediate effect. I'd much rather, like, all the rest of the AZ are a bit stronger than Portal Master. You can choose Portal Master and it doesn't do much, and you can still lose a run. It won't save it. So Portal Master's getting demoted. Fel Protector's getting demoted because of its damage isn't crazy. It's good, but it's not crazy. It's strong, but it's not busted. These two are going to the top of the A, with Fel Protector going ahead of Portal Master. Light Guard's just going lower in B tier, because I just don't like viewing it this high up, because I don't choose that often. These two are getting demoted because I think they're, like, really perfectly balanced. This is a perfect early game origin. This is a perfect mid game origin. Like, they got pros, cons. They require a little bit of setup, whatever. And I think perfectly balanced is C. And it would be unfair to put this guy in B if I've got this guy in C. So I'm going to bring these down and beef this guy up. I'm going to bring Elitist down because it's a little too slow and hard to get going. Its power is crazy, but so are these. All these here can be crazy in the right build. It's just too hard to get going, and it's kind of like a trap for beginner players as well. So that's getting demoted. These are the changes I'm going to make. All right, so now that we've reordered them based on the relative position to each other, I'm going to try, and this isn't going to be that accurate, guys. I'm just going to try order them from best left to right. This is going to take a while. I'm not going to record it. I'm just going to show you the finished result, and it should be happening now. All right, here you are, guys. Here is the final tier list, the finished tier list of Origins. I hope this video was of some use, guys, and you enjoyed it. It was entertaining, but informative as well. Let me know if you'd like to see other content, other tier lists, like with items, relics, heirlooms. Like, there's just so much more I could do. This video took days of recording, and I know it's going to take weeks of editing. If you do enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot to me and also tells me if you like this type of content or not. I'm really loving doing YouTube at the moment and playing this game. Thank you all so much for watching. I can't believe I'm at 118 subs. That's actually crazy. And thank you, Hot Loops and The Last Flame. I love this game so much. Cheers. Until next time. Bye.